guys, and welcome back. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my labour and delivery story. I'm hoping this won't be too long. I'm going to do my very best to try and keep things as condensed and to the point as possible. I have made some notes on my phone, so if I'm kind of looking down, that's the reason why, because I knew that I might forget bits and pieces, and I may even need to put my glasses on because this mama's eyesight's not too good sometimes. But anyway, okay, so let me just stop waffling. Let me stop waffling, and I'm going to jump straight in. Before I go any further, I just want to say this is a labour and delivery video, so it might be a little bit TMI in places, but hey, that's the whole point of labour and delivery. It's a bit kind of TMI, it's a bit gruesome, but that's just life. So I'm hoping if you don't like that sort of thing, you're a bit squeamish, maybe kind of, fast forward or don't watch this video. I'm going to have to start things off by kind of going back to my 21-week scan. I identified there that there could be a few anomalies in the pregnancy. They noticed that the way that my blood was flowing to the placenta was, as they described it, erratic, and that it indicated that I could either have a small baby or that I could develop preeclampsia. So they wanted to put me on a pathway that meant additional scans to keep an eye on baby's growth and to make sure that my health and everything was fine with me, but also B, that pathway included a possible induction. So they essentially said that they wouldn't let the pregnancy continue beyond 41 weeks. So 40 weeks is kind of generally when babies arrive, and I think the most you can usually go is 42 weeks, so 2 weeks plus, but for me they said 41 weeks. So I had regular scans throughout the pregnancy and everything was going really, really well, and they were happy with how I was getting on, how baby was developing, it was all fine. They noticed that, yeah, the blood flow was still a bit erratic, but baby was coping really well. Then I had a scan at 35 weeks, and during that scan they noticed that actually baby's kind of growth had dropped off, so he was no longer kind of growing as they would hope that he would, and they were concerned that actually he wasn't receiving enough nutrients from the placenta because of the erratic blood flow, and that he could then, his body, to kind of compensate for that, would start to divert nutrients to his most vital organs, being his brain, to kind of preserve them. So I was told I had to come back the following week at 36 weeks for another scan just to check how everything was going. Came back the next week for a scan. The stenographer, I think that's what they're called, stenographers, the lady was absolutely amazing. She was so nice. She basically said to me during the scan that she could see there was no amniotic fluid surrounding the baby, and she asked me if I noticed anything leaking, and I kind of said, well, no, I didn't really notice anything. I kind of thought or assumed that it was just the mucus plug starting to come away, and she was like, okay. And I said, well, what about the baby's growth? And she said, to be honest with you, baby's growth has dropped off still. He hasn't actually progressed on in a week. He should have grown in a week and he hasn't. So I'm going to go and talk to the doctor right now and see what the doctor recommends. She left the room and I was with my husband, Lee, and we were just sitting there looking at each other like, oh my goodness. I'm not going to lie, I was feeling really anxious at this point, quite, a bit nervous and teary, and I could feel my eyes were like kind of pricking with tears. I didn't want to cry though. I wanted to try and stay calm. So a few minutes later, she came back and she basically said, the doctor has said that they are concerned. We want to get this baby out right away. We're going to induce you today. Do you have your stuff with you? So my response was no. All my stuff, like my hospital bag, was packed, but it was at home. So she basically said, okay, we've had a room already waiting for you upstairs on the labour ward in the induction section. We want you to go home right now, get your stuff, come right back, and we're going to induce your labour today. Good luck. I hope it all goes well. I was like, oh my gosh. We basically left the hospital, called our family on the way, told them what was going on, rushed home, grabbed all of our stuff, and drove straight back to the hospital. We got there, they checked us in to the induction bit, and then kind of talked us through what the induction process was going to be. She hooked me up to a monitor which was going to monitor baby's heartbeat, and she also checked me to see if I had been at all dilated. And of course I wasn't dilated at all, but baby's heartbeat was great and baby was doing really, really well. So then at about 6 o'clock, after I'd been hooked up to these monitors for ages, the midwife came in. They insert a pessary into your uterus. The one that I had was called Propess. It's a kind of like a tampon, but not quite. There's like a tape bit on the end and there's a gel at the top, and the gel is what kind of brings on your labour. So they were going to insert that, leave it in for 24 hours and see if I would start contracting, if my uterus would begin to dilate, and if I'd go into labour. So she did that. I'm not going to lie, that was a really, really uncomfortable process. Did not enjoy that bit at all. That stayed in for 24 hours. During this time, I began to feel contractions. I think they probably started at about 10 o'clock at night. The contractions, it felt like really mild period pains, just coming and going, like pulsing. They come on for a few kind of seconds and then drop off for like a couple minutes and then come back. And I was a bit like, oh my gosh, Lee, I think I'm having contractions. And kind of felt like a little bit buzzed and excited, like, oh, it's starting, we're gonna have a baby. And I was a bit like, this baby's gonna be here tomorrow, this is so cool. I was wrong. 24 hours later, the Propess was removed, and they said that I was basically 1 centimetre dilated. So in 24 hours of contracting, I had only dilated 1 centimetre. I'm not going to lie, I was feeling pretty disappointed and a bit dejected by this. I was like, I really thought, Friday I'd be having my baby, we'd be going home. Didn't quite work out that way. They told me they were going to just leave things alone for 12 hours, but that I had to stay in the hospital because they wanted to keep monitoring me and baby, and they weren't going to put the Propess back in, and wanted to see if I would, kind of progress naturally in those 12 hours. I was recommended that I kind of stay as active as possible, so go for walks around the hospital, sit on the birthing ball, bounce up and down. At this point, I was definitely feeling more and more contractions. They were becoming more intense. They were bearable. I didn't feel I needed to take any pain relief, but they were certainly becoming more frequent and more intense. I also found that I couldn't lie down on my back. It was really painful if I was lying on my back, so I needed to stay as active as possible. So I had to sit on the birthing ball or lie on my side, or kind of got to like 6 a.m. the next day, and I asked the midwife, so what's happening? Am I going to be seen by a doctor? They told me 12 hours. It's been 12 hours. What's going on? She told me the doctors would come round soon and they would let me know. I eventually got seen by a doctor at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, about 3 centimetres dilated, and I was in a position where she could actually break my waters. But they needed to make sure that I had a midwife and a room in the actual delivery suite available. Once a midwife became available, I was first on the list and would be moved over. This actually took quite a while. Doctors came round again and told me essentially that they were trying to find me a midwife, but they were really, really busy. They were very sorry. At this point, I was actually feeling super frustrated. I'd been in pain for a really long time. Both Lee and I were exhausted, worn out, and it was kind of feeling like, well, I could have been at home in a more comfortable environment if it was going to take this long. And I expressed that to the doctor, and that I felt like actually, and I appreciate that it's a lot more serious cases than mine, but the communication and there were very long gaps between anyone updating me on anything, and I was constantly having to chase for an update on what was going on. But I wasn't happy with that level of communication, and it was coming across like it wasn't a priority. I'm not going to lie, that particular doctor wasn't very helpful. He basically was quite dismissive and left the room. But the matron was also in the room, and she was really great and apologised. and actually said she was going to go right away and try and rectify the situation and find a midwife for me. She came back about 10 minutes later, was like, we found a midwife, we have a room, get your stuff together, we're going to get you in that room right now. So we were a bit like, okay, it's happening. We grabbed our stuff and they wheeled me off down the corridor into the actual delivery room. I met my midwife that was going to deliver my baby, and her name was Holly. She was amazing. At this stage, it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock, that kind of time, and Holly explained that she was going to do an internal examination, check how far along I was, dilated, and that she'd break my waters. She went through the pain relief options with me, and she also said she was going to hook me up to a monitor to make sure that baby was doing well and that I was doing well, and to monitor my contractions. So she broke my waters. I was a bit like, hold on a minute, am I supposed to feel a big gush? And she said, usually yes, but actually I'm basically just tearing the sac that the baby's in. You don't really have any amniotic fluid left. There isn't any. It has leaked away. There's obviously a tear in your sac, but I'm just kind of completely ripping it now so that we can speed up your labour. At this point, I did start to feel contractions really, really increasing. They were kind of like went from 0 to 10 very quickly, and I asked for some pain relief, and I was given pethidine, which was amazing. I had gas and air and pethidine, which meant I could just kind of drift off into like a bit of a restful, kind of not quite a sleep state, but just being really restful. And the gas and air basically just makes you feel really high, and the pethidine just makes you feel quite nice and calming. So we were able to get a little bit of sleep, and every time I felt a contraction, I'd just kind of wake up, breathe in on the gas and air, and kind of drift back off. And we maybe slept for about 2 and a bit hours. I woke up feeling like I really needed to go for a wee. So went to the toilet. While I was in the toilet, I had a massive contraction, pretty much took my breath away. And then was really sick all over the toilet, which was horrible. But in this moment, I then had this feeling of really, really needing to go for a number 2. I was like, oh my gosh, I really, really need to poop. Realised you don't need to poop. What you need to do is push. The baby is coming. So I kind of rushed back into the room, and I said to my husband and to the midwife, Holly, oh my gosh, I've just been sick in the toilet and I need to poop. I need to poop. I think the baby's coming. She was like, that's all right, it's fine. You get up on the bed, lie down and let me examine you and see what's going on. Tried to lie down on the bed. The contractions were so strong, and the urge to push was so strong that I couldn't physically lie down. It was hurting too much to get on my back and to lie down. And I said to her, I can't lie down, I can't do this. She was like, yes you can, you're fine. Get on the bed and get on all fours. And she propped the end of the bed up and put some pillows in. It was like, just lean over the pillows, get on all fours. So I did that, and she examined me, and she was like, okay, yeah, you're definitely, baby's coming along. You're like, I can't remember how many centimetres I was. I think she said I was like fully effaced. And at this point, I asked for an epidural. I kind of zoned out and didn't quite hear her say this, but my husband said she looked at him and she said to him, I can see the baby's head. It's too late for an epidural. She told me that with each contraction that I needed to push with the contraction, so to breathe in on the gas and air and to push. So my husband was there holding my hand and rubbing my back. I feel like because I had a lot of drugs, I had like the gas and air and the pethidine, I kind of spaced out a bit. Like, I don't remember having a lot of conversation. I just remember saying to Lee, don't stop rubbing my back. It was pretty intense. It was a really surreal kind of experience. I kind of felt like I went into like mentally another place in my mind. I just remember thinking with each kind of contraction and push, you are one step closer to seeing your baby. And I just kept visualising holding him in my arms on a beach and seeing him and cuddling him. So that was like my motivation to kind of get through. Holly could tell that I was getting tired, and she actually said to me, look, on the neck, baby's head is right there. You keep kind of pushing, he's crowning a bit, and and then you're not pushing through enough and he's going back in. What I need you to do, because you're getting really, really tired now, is on the next push, give it all you've got and just really push baby's head through. So I kind of was like, okay, I've got to do this now because I'm tired and baby's tired, I need to get him out. Was on the next push, I just remember going, "Go girl," and giving it all I had and literally kind of almost screaming, kind of like, really pushing as hard as I could. And Lee was standing next to me, so sweet, and he was really rubbing my back. He's like, "Come on, Janine, I can see his head, he's right there, I can see him, keep going, keep going." So I kept pushing with everything I had, and she was like, "His head's out, well done, his head's out, just stop there, don't push right now, just pant. The next push your baby will be out because his shoulders will come out." So I was kind of like just panting and feeling, actually it was a strange feeling of euphoria, like yes, my baby's here, but terrified, oh my god, there's a baby coming out of me. It was really, really surreal, really weird. So then on the next contraction I just gave another big push, but it wasn't as hard a push as to get his head out, and the rest of his body came. She then kind of like put him in front of me and was like, "Here's your baby," and I was so kind of spaced out and like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even speak at all. I just looked at him and pointed, and I remember going, and like thinking, oh, he's here. This is what he looks like. This is him. Our little boy, his name is Grayson, and he was born on Sunday the 10th of April at, I think it was 3:48 a.m. He is quite literally the love of our life and our absolute joy. That pretty much wraps up my labour and delivery story. I think I've covered everything, but if you have any questions, then just leave them in the comment down below and I'll try and answer them. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.